I've heard that the state is now switching from Bank of America to Wells Fargo for unemployment insurance benefit payments. Why are you making this change, and when will it happen?
So you heard right. I'm not sure how you heard that. You obviously have some good sources, but we will be making a formal announcement in a press release later today. So you're the first to hear from me that we have entered into a new contract with Wells Fargo. We've actually been working on this relationship for months. We're really excited to be able to offer the direct deposit payment option to our customers. It is, going to be faster, safer, more convenient for our claimants. And we are going to start moving people from the debit card to direct deposit in April.
And why not continue to work with Bank of America?
So our contract is expiring with Bank of America, which is why we've been, like I said, working for months on a new solution. We've been talking about direct deposit actually since last summer. And with the influx of rampant fraud across the country in the unemployment insurance programs, this is a much more safe and convenient way for our customers to get their money. The Treasurer's Office already has a contract in Maryland with Wells Fargo. So this is why we went this route. It's going to be an easy transition. We believe for our customers, they will enroll and include their bank account information right into their Beacon portal. So we're happy we have this technology to be able to do this at this point. And as soon as we do that, our claimants will be able to transition right from receiving their payments via a debit card that they won't have to worry about losing, and they'll be able to use their, access their payments right from their own bank account. There's no option anymore with direct deposit for a fraudster to somehow change an address or, get someone's information to log into an account fraudulently. It can't be lost in the mail. It can't be stolen. There are so many reasons why we think this is going to be beneficial for our customers. Apparently the legislature thinks that too. There's a proposed bill in right now asking us to transition to direct deposit. So I can't wait to tell them in that hearing as well that we've been working on this for many months, and we're excited to make this transition for our customers very soon. April is not very far away.
So are you eliminating the debit card option completely?
Yes. So our claimants now upload their information into their portal for their bank to have the direct deposit option. And for anyone who does not have a bank account, they will have the option through the Wells Fargo vendor as well to get a paper check. Okay,
great. Well, that crosses off a few of my questions about chip card technology. So I'll move ahead. With the $1,000 grants for the claimants with pending claims extending over 30 days, the first deadline to get that information to the comptroller's office is March 3rd. Where is the department in supplying those names, and how many people do you expect are eligible for those grants in the first round?
We are doing all that analysis as we are having this conversation. I was on a call about that prior to this one. So we do plan to provide that list of claimants' names to the comptroller on March 3rd, the date that it is due. Obviously, we're happy that the legislature decided to exempt any claim that's flagged for fraud. We think that's really important. As you already know, over 85% of the claims we flag for fraud end up actually being fraudulent. So we didn't want to make those payments on claimants that are potentially fraudulent. So we will, of the pending numbers that we report weekly, we are working to take out anything flagged for fraud and back anything out that hasn't had a determination in more than 30 days.
Do you have any kind of ballpark, like 10,000 or 5,000, any idea?
I don't, only because my team is working on those numbers right now. You see the numbers of pending claims that we report on a weekly basis where we're below 40,000, in that number, and it will be a lesser amount than that because we're backing it out for people who haven't had a determination in more than 30 days. So as soon as we have those numbers, we'll send them right over to the comptroller so we can get those payments out.
Great. I saw the Department of Labor there is requesting emergency approval for 3 contracts, including Alorica, which you had mentioned in our conversation in December, a $71 million contract for augmentation staffing to help adjudicate those claims. How many adjudicators will be provided in that contract, and how many are currently working?
Sure. So We had a BPW briefing this morning, and I don't have those exact numbers in front of me. I wish I had known you were going to ask that question, or I would have that handy. I know that we currently have approximately 230 Alorica staff in the system. Some of those are still being trained. So not every single one of those is actually making calls right now. I believe there's between 160, 170 Alorica staff members adjudicating claims, making outbound calls to our customers at this point. That contract goes much higher, I believe up to 500. But I will have all those details for BPW tomorrow when we review that. As you can imagine, the recruitment and the training of those new team members is complex. We're essentially training a new agent in 40 hours, what an internal agent spends months and months to learn and do. So we have an internal quality control team that audits and is working to support that team, and making sure that the determinations and decisions that they're making as they learn and start working through these claims is accurate.
And how many adjudicators are there within the department already working? And is there an average time they spend on these pending claims or resolving one?
Well, we work from the oldest issue forward. Internally, I believe we have about 150 adjudicators. So now we've got, we're bringing on hundreds more. I know that the Alorica team, even though because of the trainer model and then the recruitment, these agents are required to have a background check and fingerprinting. Obviously, they have staff access to our system. So it's very important that we take all those security measures. Between getting the IT connectivity and all of the recruitment, they did not actually start adjudicating claims until the very end of December. So in a matter of 60 days, they've already resolved over 14,000 claims. That's an extreme benefit to our customer base and our pending backlog. We're just working through them as fast as we can.
I know you continue to get, thousands of new claims a week, and that pending number hasn't grown exponentially, and it's shrinking slowly, but I'm still hearing from people who've been waiting for interviews since October. When will it be their turn? I mean, can you give us an idea of what month the adjudicators are working in right now?
I don't have that information on the tip of my tongue, but what I can tell you is we continue to staff up. Our Alorica vendor, as well as our Accenture call center vendor, whose agents have been cross-trained to not do full adjudication because it's a different level of expertise, but they are cross-trained to resolve multiple other types of issues that are in claims. For example, they can, when they have people on the phone, they can verify fraud identity verification documents. There are other simple issues that may be on a claim that's not to the level of requiring an adjudication interview that they can also resolve. So those are additional issues and claims that are being resolved. Yes, our pending numbers are going down. I'm thrilled about that. I'm not thrilled that the continuing claims keep rolling in. Obviously, I think we all hope that we'll be in a better place in a few months. We had hundreds of thousands of claimants who were exhausting their benefits at the end of the year, and then the Continued Assistance Act passed. And we had hundreds of thousands of claimants coming back into our system, reopening their claims because there's an additional 11 weeks of benefits available to them now with the additional $300 per week on top of that. I will tell you that the technology helped us to implement those programs extremely fast without any interruption in payments to our customers. We're happy about that. We know that we were the first or one of the very first to implement those 3 extended programs. However, that means higher volume for our team. It means higher, call volume across the board for you and for legislators. And we're well aware of that. The pending number is going down, but as we staff up, we'll be able to hit it even harder. And as the new claim volume coming in decreases, obviously we will see a bigger dent in that pending number going down.
Okay, transitioning to fraud, and hopefully with direct deposit, this won't be as big of an issue as we've seen. But recently I spoke with a man who was contacted by someone. He wanted to give him funding for his nonprofit. So in the last week, he's received more than 10 unemployment insurance debit cards in other people's name to his address. How does that happen? And have you heard of this happening?
I have heard, we obviously are working with state police, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the Federal Office of Inspector General in an ongoing investigation. So every single claim that is flagged in our system, the federal OIG now has access to see that information real time. And we're working closely on a daily and weekly basis with these partners to investigate every single one of these claims. I was just on a call with state police yesterday where I did hear about multiple addresses being related to, multiple claims being all related to one address. And that's something that they're tracking down. How does it happen? If I knew that, I would obviously do whatever we need to do to stop it and to block it. It's shocking to me the way that bad actors, can find this information. In the past, obviously, we have unemployment insurance programs across the country deal with fraud every day in terms of the claimant claiming benefits when they're still working. That's a different type of fraud. This identity fraud that is rampant right now in these programs is just hit since the CARES Act passed with all of the additional enhanced benefits and new streamlined federal programs. So, while we were thrilled to roll out all the new extended programs in the first weeks, we believe we also saw a lot of the new fraud and people attacking, using those fake identities to try and use the same addresses and get benefits. What we're proud of is that we have so many triggers in our system right now. You probably saw our press release a few weeks ago where we announced that we have actually blocked over 150,000 fraudulent claims just since January. Because at the time of filing, we have all the right triggers in place to block many of those. And actually, we are changing those weekly and monthly because as the bad actors kind of evolve and try different things, we have to keep up with that. We also just closed an RFP for a new vendor that will be starting very soon to help us review identity verification documents in a more streamlined electronic fashion so that we won't have to do all of that manually. Although for the time being, we've added a ton of staff, even outside of the unemployment insurance division. We've trained secretary's office and other employees in other divisions of our department to be able to review that identity verification documentation with all the right training from state police to be able to clear any claimant that may get caught with the fraud block that may be legitimate.
When do you anticipate that vendor will start working on this? Because I know the benefit payment control unit's probably overwhelmed trying to verify all these documents. So, is that something that'll be implemented in a month or sooner?
I would say in the coming weeks. I need to circle back with my procurement team. I believe last week they just selected the actual vendor. That was a competitive procurement. So I'll have more information about that going forward. Yes, it should help in terms of the benefit payment control unit. They're overwhelmed, like every other division of our department is overwhelmed, but we have added staff. The beauty of having these vendors under contract and bringing in staff every single week is that we can kind of reassign and refocus our internal staff to where the biggest issue is at the time. So we have added new employees that are hired internally and other employees from the division to the benefit payment control unit. We have also added employees to the employer call center because you may have also heard that as quarterly statements have gone out for the end of the year, we're hearing from more employers reporting fraud that they're seeing in their statements from employees that they never laid off or that didn't work for them. And so we issued a press release about that as well, because we wanted to make sure not only claimants, but also employers understand all the different ways that you can report fraud to our office so that we can block it immediately. And of course, no claimant or employer will be liable for any of those charges that are fraudulent.
And I know we have a few minutes left, so I have two more quick questions. We continue to hear from claimants who've received crazy overpayment notices, tens of thousands of dollars. The few that we've been able to help get resolved, it turned out they didn't submit the right payment information, pay stubs, but it also wasn't clearly communicated to them. So what's been a major cause of these notices? And did the extended federal programs in January have anything to do with it?
One of the biggest causes for these overpayments simply was the new programs from the federal government, the volume of self-employed and independent contractor claims in our system. You probably know that when they filed those claims, they were required to estimate their earnings. And then within a period of time, they have to upload documents to prove those earnings. So as our staff goes in and kind of reconciles that, sometimes we paid claimants too much or too little. And that can result in a notice either way, actually an overpayment notice in their portal, or it could mean that we owe them additional money, which would obviously be a bigger benefit for that claimant. We've been really clear that the notice of overpayment is not a bill. It's subject to protest, and they can do that in their Beacon portal. They can email, they can call us. We have resources for all of that as well.
We spoke to Terry Gerard in December, and he had it with the department, but a few weeks ago, he completely changed his tune, and it was after he received an email directly from you. It's been hard on a lot of people. They're depending on their benefits to pay their rent, mortgages, feed their families, and they just want someone to acknowledge that their claim is being addressed. What do you have to say to them? Because I know you can't respond individually to everyone.
I wish I could, Mallory. And I have to tell you, he probably received a very late night email from me. I hope that our customers understand that I am a hands-on secretary, and it's why I sometimes can't find the time in the day to do these types of interviews. We are on calls all day and all evening. There are other divisions in our department that are doing a lot of good work as well. But unemployment is our focus right now because we have so many customers that we are trying to ensure that we provide that service to. What I would say is do not give up. We are adding, even though our vendors are competing for resources across the country, and they are, every unemployment insurance division across the nation is in the same situation. So our vendors are recruiting and training staff as fast as they can. We literally are asking them to bring in, more and more, especially now that they've kind of, gotten the hang of the work that we've asked them to do. And we've provided all the controls, and they have a team of people that's training their own staff through a train the trainer model with our internal staff oversight. It's working, and we just need, more internal staff to do the job. That being said, we have provided, in addition to the call center and the adjudication vendors, multiple ways for our customers to talk to us. And that's what I would say to anyone who is waiting. You can call, and I know some people still have a hard time getting through, but there is an option for the callback if they're early enough in the queue to get that option. There's a virtual agent that they can chat with. There's a live agent that they can chat with. We actually recently, just in the last week or two, implemented the ability for our staff to send messages back and forth with claimants in their Beacon portal. That has proved extremely helpful. Obviously, we have all of the different email boxes specific to fraud and employers and all the different issues, which it's helpful if they specify the right place, for those questions to go. But I would say, certainly claimants do email me directly and all members of our team. But we purposely have tried to set up the technology with the system that they can communicate back and forth with our agents in multiple ways, not only because we know we don't have enough people to answer every single call. We keep adding and trying to do that, but it's an impossible task at this moment until we get more people. So because of that, we've provided multiple avenues and ways for them to reach us. And I would say, please, for our customers, just keep trying, because we will get to you. We will resolve your issues and ensure that you get every benefit payment that you're entitled to.
All right. Thank you, Secretary, for your time. I really appreciate it.